Hey guys on YouTube, it's 206 Analysis. Time to do the Ultimate Fighter 14 finale. I'm not doing predictions for the contestants on it because again we will not find out until tomorrow. So I'm gonna do the two main fights of the first two fights on the card, which is Tony Ferguson versus Yves Edwards and Michael Bisping versus Jason Miller. Now we'll start off with Tony Ferguson versus Yves Edwards. If you want to skip to the Bisping Mayhem fight, I'll just check it out in the description. I'll tell you where to go. Okay, now let's talk about Tony Ferguson. His main wins have only been in the UFC, which was Aaron Riley back at UFC 135 and Ramzi Najim in back in June for the Ultimate Fighter 13 finale. And he's been fighting since 2008, compiled a record of 10-2, and his last three fights have been by TKO. And if you now he was able when his first fight in the Ultimate Fighter was against Justin Edwards, and he followed it up with beating Ryan McGillivray. I hate the guy's name, McGillivray. And he beat him in less than a minute, and then he put away Chuck O'Neal in the third round, and he went to the finals. And then he fought Najim. He really surprised a lot of us because a lot of us predicted Ramzi Najim to win the fight, and I was shocked to see how well Tony Ferguson was, seeing that he does have power in both hands. He has wrestling, and he knows how he can finish the fight wherever he would like, which makes me favor him in this prediction. So, but again, you cannot count out Yves Edwards, who has been fighting and who has a 9-5 UFC record. He has ups and downs. He's very unpredictable of how well he will do. We don't really. Again, that's a very I'm really I'm having a hard time predicting it, but again, I'm going to be going with Ferguson. So he has wrestling. He knows he can use the wrestling, and he can use both hands, which we've all seen Yves Edwards' chin deteriorate, and we've seen it. We just have seen him starting to lose via knockout more recently than we have seen him in the past. So when I see how he wins, I say he uses the boxing and uses his wrestling to. I think he should use wrestling to really wear down Yves Edwards, because he can be weared. He can gas easily with wrestlers, and then work with the boxing and knock him out, because it's more likely to happen. So now I'm not gonna I'm gonna go on my prediction about Yves Edwards and about how he could win. So here we go. So he has wins. He's 41 and 17 overall. Don't count out the record. Ignore records. Always ignore records, because records don't mean jack shit in MMA, because anything can happen. So Yves Edwards was considered the best lightweight in the world during his like main prime, which was around 2002 to 2005 when he went 11-1 with beating Hermes Franca twice, Josh Thompson and Rich Clemente, but he has ups and downs. So during his time during 2006 2007, he suffered losses to Jorge Masvidal, Mike Brown, Mark Hominick, Joe Stevenson, and he just had a really tough year. And then he started coming back, getting wins in the Elite XC, Strikeforce, Bellator, MFC, and the UFC was impressed. The UFC matchmakers, Dana White, Furtado brothers, were impressed. They gave him a chance at 34 years old, and has gone 3-1, defeating John Gunderson, Cody McKenzie, and Rafaela Oliveira. And but we all saw his knockout by Sam Stout back in UFC 131, which won Sam Stout knockout of the night. And how he does it, what does he do to win? I really don't see him taking this fight because the only way I see him really winning this fight is range with his striking. He probably needs to work the kicks, which we saw him use the kick. We saw him have a really nice head kick over uh, Rafaelo Oliveira at UFC on versus 6, which but we've now seen that his chin is not what it used to be. He is a dangerous fighter, but he can surprise fighters. He does surprise us a lot. He does have ups and downs. We can't really I can't really predict when he's gonna have an up or has ups and when he has his downs. So bottom line in this fight, the matchup is against a young guy against a very well seasoned veteran of MMA, and I gotta say, I think I'm gonna be. I think I see this ending early. I see this ending late first round, maybe mid first round, first round, early second. That's where I predict the fight might be stopped by where Tony Ferguson probably will stop Eve Edwards probably by a knockout or TKO. Again, it's really tough to predict KOs because KOs are very unlikely in MMA. So that's my prediction. I go with Tony Edwards with a TKO in the around the second round. All right, now to go to the main event: Michael Bisping versus Jason Mayhem Miller, or Michael the Count Bisping versus Jason Mayhem Miller. So we look at Michael Bisping. We're going to look at Michael Bisping first. So 21-3 overall, 11-3 in the UFC, which is very, very, very impressive, knowing the guys he has fought. I think he should be 10-4 with the Matt Hamill fight, and he should be 20-4 because of the Matt Hamill fight, because he did not win that fight. He definitely did not win that fight, and he acted. I was just really I found it disgraceful how he acted like he knew he won when I think he definitely knew he did not win that fight. So he is a season 3 veteran of the Ultimate Fighter. This is his second time coaching. He came in with a 10-0 record, and he was fighting in Cage Warriors back in England, which rose him to fame. And he won at light heavyweight. He won his first 4 fights, but he lost a lot of the momentum he had going for that title when he fought Rashad Evans, and he lost via decision. After that, he dropped down to 185 and looked a lot better than he ever did. He was actually thought of getting the title shot against Anderson Silva, but he decided to take the coaching job, his first coaching job of the Ultimate Fighter Season 9 against Dan Henderson. But when the two coaches fought, Henderson and Bisping, we saw Bisping get knocked the fuck out by Henderson, which showed that boxers can give him problems. Strikers give the guy problems. But I know Jason Mayhem Miller isn't really a striker, so we know that Michael Bisping will have a better chance in this fight. So since the loss to Dan Henderson, he has gotten 3 wins in a row, going against Dan Miller, against Dan Miller. No, not 3. He hasn't gone 3. No, he has gone 4-1 with wins over Dennis King, Dan Miller, who else? Yoshihiro Akiyama and Jorge Rivera, and his last loss was against Vanderlei Silva to a close fight, which I did see Vanderlei winning, but I was really thinking that Bisping was going to take the fight. So now how he wins, I say he has very great skills. He trains a lot better fighters. He has been fighting a lot of more top competition fighters, unlike Mayhem. Mayhem hasn't fought a top 10 guy since Jake Shields, which there is controversy saying that Miller won it 3-2. Shields won it 3-2. Shields almost lost in the 3rd round when Mayhem almost got a rear naked choke. Now, again, the skill set of Bisping, I think, is a lot better than Mayhem. He has more striking ability than Mayhem, and think of it, fights always start on the feet. It doesn't go to the ground automatically. We could see basically a boxing match for 3 rounds straight, and at the end, some guys shoot the takedown to steal the round. We don't know. MMA is unpredictable, so I don't know what's going to happen. So I think Bisping has better striking skills, and I think he will be able to he'll be able to take the fight most likely. But don't count him. Don't count Mayhem out. Now to Mayhem. He's 24-7, 0-1 in the UFC when he fought George St. Pierre after his loss to Matt Hughes. Now, when he was fighting after the loss to George St. Pierre, he didn't fight he left the promotion, and he never fought at welterweight again because of the cut on weight, the draining and the hydration that goes into it. And so he started fighting a lot more in smaller promotions. He's been in 5-round fights, and that's one thing I'm giving Mayhem in this one. He's fought 5-round fights, so he knows what to expect in a 5-round fight. So when he was picked to go into the Dream middleweight championship, tournament, he was stopped by Ron. His career it went halt. He was halted by Ronaldo Jacare Souza, who defeated him by a decision. And after the loss, or no, not after the loss, he fought Jacare again after an illegal soccer kick. He cut Jacare open, and they did a no contest. But after that, he decided to begin hosting his show, Bully Beatdown, which I think it's a really funny show. How I like what he does, and I like how in the end a lot of the bullies have respect to the person they were basically terrorizing. So his popularity earned him the shot at in Strikeforce. Now for the Strikeforce middleweight champion against Jake Shields, and it was close. It was one of the closest. It was a close fight. There was almost an ending, which which I again mentioned about the rear naked choke on Jake Shields, which he almost won Mayhem almost took the fight, but again Shields was saved by the bell. So now, after the Nashville Brawl, he was sidelined. The Nashville Brawl, basically, when Jake Shields fought Dana Henderson back in April of 2010, and Miller went in and saying, he went in there not passing security, and said to Jake Shields, he took the mic from I don't remember the guy's name. I'm sorry, I don't remember the guy's name. But he said, like, "Where's my rematch, buddy?" And Shields pushed him away, and it started what we now know as the Nashville Brawl. And then he was sent back to Strikeforce kicked him out, and then with the show, and they kicked him out, and he went back to Dream to fight. God, I fucking hate this guy's name so much. Kazushi Sakabura, and old Kazushi Sakabura, not the Gracie Killer as we knew him in Pride, in the early days of Pride. He wasn't. That isn't what we know. He fought an old one, an old, very well respected fighter. Now, that's his last fight, which happened in September of 2010. Which has been a long time, so he's gonna have ring rust, ring rust is a factor. It is a common known factor. But if you do look at this year, that fighters who have come back from having a long hiatus, I hate the word. Just I'm not really, my mind's not in the right place today. So now I really think about this. With a long hiatus, we've seen fighters like in boxing, Floyd Mayweather Jr. come back and win against Victor Ortiz. He was winning in the fight, but he did do the sucker punch, which was legal. I did not like the sucker punch. I still favor Mayweather over Pacquiao. I'm not going to get into that, obviously. So, and Rashad Evans coming back after a very, very long time. He comes back to fight Tito Ortiz, and his last fight before that was against Thiago Silva, which was not really the most entertaining fight. So Now I'm gonna get to the down to the point of how he does it. He should not. He's a very unpredictable fighter in the stand up, and I think he's not gonna want to keep it standing. I think he's gonna want to take it to the ground because he is more well experienced on the ground than Michael Bisping, and I think Jason Miller will have the more will have the more stamina in this fight, the more energy in this fight, because again he's taking a lot. He took time off to really get back in shape, get into a better, get into a comfortable walk around weight, and so I think that he will have a chance. He definitely will have a chance. So if again I again go with Michael Bisping, but if Michael Bisping gets tired in this 5 round fight, which I think it's supposed to be a 5 round fight, I think so. 1 second. I think they decided to make this a 5 round fight. Obviously, I don't know. So if it is a 5 round fight, I'm gonna have to think. I'm thinking that if Bisping might get tired and Bisping will tire out and man will take him down, pass the guard, use ground and pound, and look for submissions. But I do not see. I don't really think I'm gonna see that happen. I think I'm gonna have to go with Michael Bisping again. You know what? I think I'm gonna change the prediction. I'm gonna go with Miller, the 4th round, probably a 4th round or 3rd round submission because of his ground game. The ground game does play a key factor in mixed martial arts. That's why we see a lot of grapplers as champions right now. So, bottom line, I see Miller gassing out Bisping in around the 3rd, 4th round, and I see this fight going for Miller. So that is my prediction. That is all. I'm out of here. Check out, which I can't shoot soon, will be the co-host of the Science of Violence radio show in the link below. My boy 916 Chris hosts the show. You might all know him if you are a fan of MMA predictions on YouTube. Check out his channel in the description below. Check out my Twitter in the description below. Ask me questions on Twitter and I'll get back to you as quick as possible. Check out MMA Socials in the description below. And Facebook MMA, if you want your voice heard, go there and post anything you want. Do not post spam because I will ban you. Alright, peace out, guys.